Hey everyone, it's Charles Bates again. I want to share with you for our memorable moments speech the time whenever I was in Iraq and I decided to get myself blown up. We started the day, actually we started the day prior, which stood guard duty all day, which was a fun experience. It was 4 hours on, 4 hours off, but guard duty for 24 hours. We finished that at 6 a.m. and then they came to us and they're like, hey guys, by the way, we're going to go out and do IED sweeps all day. So needless to say, we were all really excited about that. We loaded up the trucks, and I was the only one in my platoon that had a 7-ton license, which is this huge truck, a huge personnel carrier. So we loaded up. My squad was the ones that were doing the driving. We moved out. We had some engineers with us who were the ones that were actually doing the sweeping for the IEDs. And then one of our other squads was performing security while my squad was operating the vehicle. So, a little bit about IED sweeping. It is one of the most important things that you can do in Iraq because that was the number one problem that we ran into with our squad and company was that's how we got most of the casualties. On the other hand, it is one of the dumbest things that we do and it sucked. The way it worked is we had the trucks on the road and then we had men out on either side of the trucks walking parallel in a parallel line that was perpendicular to the trucks, and they were walking with their metal detectors and whatever else they had. And it was a very slow process. We would drive about 100 yards and then stop and wait 15 minutes for the other people to catch up. Then we'd drive another 100 yards and stop, wait 15 minutes, drive 100 yards and stop, drive 100 yards and stop. So, for a squad of Marines that just spent the previous 24 hours with no sleep, this was very tough to stay awake and very boring. So, we'd been going all day. We started at 8 a.m. It was going on about noon, and I fell asleep. I'm not sure how long I was out. It wasn't very long, but I woke up. The other trucks, the 3 Humvees that were ahead of me, they were probably 200 yards. And I thought, okay. So I reached down, I put my truck in gear, start rolling and rolling and rolling, and then boom! An explosion happened. And I was still asleep, I guess. I didn't know what had happened. I had this guy named Vaughn. He was in the passenger seat. He was asleep too. We were slackers. I reached over and I shook him, and he didn't move. And I thought, oh my God, I killed this kid. And I was like, Vaughn, wake up. Vaughn. And he's like, coming to. I'm like, dude, you alright? You alright? I'm like, Vaughn, are you okay? Tell me you're okay. He's like, I'm fine. What did you do? I was like, I don't know. And then I realized that we had drove over a mine in my 7-ton truck. I'm still not exactly sure at this point if I'm okay. I don't feel anything. So I slowly open my door and stick my rifle out to see if we were going to be ambushed or not, because that was a common tactic of the Al Qaeda, whatever you want to call them. They blow us up, immobilize us, and then start shooting at us. Luckily, this instance, that's not what happened. But I did get out of the truck, and sure enough, I had driven over an anti-tank mine. It had blown the 54-inch mud tire that stood about it's off. It had blown it to smithereens, blown the whole front end of the truck off, and somehow, miraculously, it had hit the gas tank and it had not exploded. So, after I collecting my thoughts and explain what had happened. Everybody was there. Everybody saw it. We still had to talk about it. And then I had a cigarette. That's customary after getting blown up in Iraq. I don't know if you know that. You have to have a cigarette. We decided that it was time to go home. Or so I thought we decided that. My squad leader said, okay, Bates, go get the front truck, the lead truck, and whenever we get all mounted up, take us home. All right, right on. So I go up and I get in the Humvee, the lead Humvee. We get the word, yeah, let's ride. So we start off. We come to a crossroads. I go straight across the crossroads to go home. The second truck was driven by one of my guys, and he followed me. Third truck was driven by one of the engineers, and he was getting a different order from his lieutenant. So he turns left. The tourist guy was like, hey Bates, they're not going with us. I'm like, crap. So we stop. I get out, and this corporal comes bebopping over there. He goes, what y'all doing? We're going home, like we talked about. That's not what the lieutenant said. I was like, I'm just telling you what my spoiler said. This guy was cocky and was not wanting to listen. I get extremely upset when people don't want to listen to me. And so he and I exchanged a very heated conversation. At one point, I got very angry and threw my helmet. That's not the thing to do. So eventually, he went away and was talking about taking me up and charging me with papers, and that's what you do in the Marine Corps if you're a wolf. So just a second went by, I heard somebody say, "Who's Bates?" I was like, "Yeah, who's that?" Now I'm ticked off. I've done, haven't had any sleep. I've gotten blown up, and I've gotten into an altercation with some goofball. I said, "I am. What are you going to do about it?" And this mountain of a man turned around, or was standing there when I turned around, and his name was Sergeant Buck. And I was like, oh, snap. I do not want to fight this man, because he's big. He said, "Come here, devil dog," which is a term that we call each other. So Sergeant Buck and I talked it over. He wound up being really cool. He understood the situation and wanted me to calm down. So after Sergeant Buck and I had our conversation, he went back and told his lieutenant that it was probably best that we go back to the house. The lieutenant complied, because generally younger lieutenants listen to older enlisted Marines, which is the way it should be, but not always, but generally. So we went back, we all chilled out, we had some MREs. It was a good day. That's my story about my memorable moment of when I got blown up in Iraq, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. Thanks.